Joining me to discuss BTC price and other Bitcoin news is our CoinDesk Week in Review panel with Editor-at-Large Christie Harkin in Toronto and crypto markets analyst Glenn Williams Jr. Welcome, Christie and Glenn. Happy Friday to y'all.
Happy Friday to you as well.
Happy Friday. Good to be back.
It's good to have you back, Christie. All right, taking a look at the markets, that's what's causing everyone to go, what's going on? I see $23,367 Bitcoin right now. Bitcoin's on the rise, Glenn. The macro conditions seem to be improving with the PC inflation coming down from 4.7 to 4.4% November to December, and that's the Fed's preferred inflation gauge. Also, the Bank of Canada saying they're going to pause further rate hikes in the future. Is this rally sustainable? What's going on?
I'll say yes. The rally is sustainable to the extent that I don't see anything anything negative on the horizon that would take things downwards. Bitcoin as well as Ether are up substantially. You kind of led with the fact that we're up upwards of 40% on the year. We took a look at some on-chain analytics earlier this week, and primarily for short-term holders of Bitcoin, meaning Bitcoin has been purchased within the last 5 months or so, the price of Bitcoin has exceeded their cost basis. So you're seeing more holders of Bitcoin kind of moving into a profitable range, primarily short-term buyers. The issue is whether or not they are going to remain, or they're going to move into the basket of long-term holders, or whether they would be willing to take profits. As it relates to the macroeconomic data that you spoke to earlier, the Fed has a tough job. They kind of have to manage inflation and this decline in prices without driving the American economy into a ravine. So you have seen some positive data as it relates to prices coming down, CPE coming down, personal consumption expenditures today moving lower. We had a good GDP print yesterday, which showed a contraction from the quarter prior, but was a little bit above expectations as well. So there's kind of this push and pull. The issue with the sustainability of the rally is, again, whether or not we're going to see people take advantage of the fact that price has gone up 30%. And my personal feeling right now, because of a couple of things that we've been looking at, is that we may take a bit of a pause at these current levels.
All right, Glenn, we're also seeing BTC and ETH leveling off, and layer twos as well as alts are surging. Anything you can say about that?
Well, sure. So if you believe in Ethereum, you probably believe in those things that are going to run on top of it to help it scale more. So you do see a pop in things like Optimism, recent pop in tokens like Matic. Investors want to get exposure. It's a different opportunity set. And it's one that it's not surprising to me that these layer 2 tokens, which improve upon the efficiency of Ethereum, are getting a bid as well. I also think that there's probably a knowledge gap relative to Bitcoin, ETH, and these layer 2 tokens. So there's some significant or profitable opportunity sets that exist within these layer 2 tokens that may be lagging Bitcoin and Ethereum, or Ether rather. But it doesn't surprise me that they are moving higher, especially since I do think that, we've seen Bitcoin and ETH level off a bit.
All right. I see that stablecoin flows are a bit of a concern for you. We have a chart of the stablecoin supply ratio. What's going on there? And what does that indicate on the direction of the crypto markets?
Sure. So I view stablecoins the way, you would view dry powder, so to speak. So the stablecoin supply ratio is simply a ratio between the amount of Bitcoin on exchanges and the amount of stablecoin on exchanges. You want to see that ratio moving lower, meaning more stablecoins being sent to exchanges for the purpose of purchasing digital assets, purchasing oftentimes Bitcoin. And as you can see, since around January 11th, that ratio has spiked higher. It doesn't necessarily mark a measure of fear, but I would say just a measure of caution, particularly or primarily if you are a short-term investor. What it signals to me is that we are taking a bit of a pause. You may have some investors or traders who are looking to take profits because a 30% move in price is kind of hard to turn away. And then you may have some who are just kind of maybe sitting on their hands, waiting to see what happens. With the Fed meeting next week. I'd have additional concern if we saw more Bitcoin being sent to exchanges as well, but that's not the case. So to me, this seems more like where we may pause, who may trade along support, which seems to be developing like right around 22.8, 23,000 or so. And so I think that the fact that we're up 30% has a lot to do with the fact that we're probably going to be stable for a little while.
Yeah, Glenn, let's take a quick look at the CoinDesk Market Index. They've had positive returns this week. What does it say about the overall health of the crypto market sector right now?
Yeah, sure. To me, it just says that Bitcoin and ETH and the fact that the crypto markets have been able to kind of shake off some of the contagion related to individual actors within the crypto space. It just seems, to me, it indicates that they're taking the crypto space along for the ride. It was a terrible 2022. It makes sense that as confidence begins to improve and some of those macro indicators kind of move in the direction that we want them to go, that you're going to start to see a bid higher in crypto markets in general. So it does not surprise me at all that along with the increases in Bitcoin and ETH, we've seen significant increases in the CoinDesk Market Index.
All right, shifting over to DC, some news out of the Capitol Hill and the White House. So the White House is calling on Congress to step up its efforts on crypto regulation. Meanwhile, U.S. Senator Elizabeth Warren this week was praising SEC Chair Gary Gensler's effort to police the crypto industry and calling for lawmakers to give the watchdog more resources and authority to keep things going, as well as praising the rejection of the spot Bitcoin ETF and finding Kim Kardashian as one of the good accomplishments by the SEC over the last year. Confer with Senator Ted Cruz, who also wants Capitol Hill vending machines to accept crypto. Christy, what's going on?
Yeah, that's a lot right there, isn't it? Yeah. So yeah, on Wednesday, Senator Ted Cruz, the Republican from Texas, introduced a concurrent resolution that would require that all the buyers for both the House and the Senate, that's the concurrent part of the resolution, would have to contract with food service contractors and vending machine operators that accept cryptocurrency for the whole Capitol complex in Washington, D.C. And that's interesting. You have to be, you have to understand also that this does not mean that the crypto industry can suddenly start gouging the consumers of products at the Capitol complex, because there's still a little caveat that, no, they can't turn down proffered contracts that are more fiscally responsible or cheaper or better for the American public. But he wants to get some vending machines in there, and also any gift shops. If you go and you are visiting the White House and you want to buy something in the gift shop, you should be able to buy it in Bitcoin. Now, okay, he doesn't specifically say Bitcoin, he says cryptocurrencies, but Ted Cruz is known for being very pro Bitcoin. So I would suspect, this could be perhaps a good opportunity for Lightning developers who have, point of sale products that maybe they want to expand the market for, so that, they should be lining up and sending that out. But it's weird that, this comes the day before 4 senior U.S. officials publish a statement urging Congress to step up efforts with respect to regulating cryptocurrency markets. And this statement definitely casts crypto in a less than favorable light. They're looking at it from the focus of saving people from the big bad wolf of crypto that's clearly running amok. So they want to, as you said, expand regulators' powers to prevent misuses of customer assets, mitigate conflicts of interest, strengthen transparency and disclosure requirements for crypto companies. They're looking more on the sort of the stick as opposed to the carrot side of things when it comes to dealing with crypto companies. And they don't want people diving headlong into cryptocurrency markets. So Ted Cruz may have a bit of trouble getting support from the White House if he wants to dive headlong into Bitcoin vending machines on the site.
All right. And while I was listening to the hash, our folks, Zach, Wendy, Will, and Jenna Sanasi were pretty... they felt that this was a stunt, a typical Senator Ted Cruz stunt in any event, but, if you get some Pringles first in your Bitcoin, why not?